Hey everyone, I'm so glad to be here today to be able to teach you our new series titled Not Okay. Now for this week, we're going to be focusing on when you're not okay, Jesus offers hope. Now I am going to just forewarn you for the next weeks, we are going to be focusing on mental health, and we will be able to provide some resources, give you some tips, and also just recommend some counselors if you need it. So I just want to prepare you for what's to come for the next following weeks. With that being said, it's also going to be some exciting time where we're going to offer some hope and just let you know that Jesus is there for you and he cares about you. So let's go ahead and dive right into week 1. When you're not okay, Jesus offers hope. The goal of our time this month is to help you know where to find some hope when you feel like you're not okay. There's certain things that are just not okay. And this is just on the lighter side. I want you to think about this. We know that touching wet food in the sink is not okay. I don't know about you all, but I know that in my house, if there's wet food in the sink, I'm not touching it. I call my husband. I'm like, hey, you need to get that stuff out the sink. I didn't throw it in there. Kids are just gross and they throw their dishes in the sink with all the food. I'm not touching that. So I know that's one thing that's just not okay. I know that what's also not okay is touching raw chicken. Guys, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I think touching raw chicken or just meat in general is just gross to me, but really chicken really grosses me out. It's just not okay. For some of you, you may think it's okay, but in my opinion, it's just not okay to eat week-old pizza. It's just one of those things for me where I'm like, pizza that's a week old, throw it away, don't eat it. I know some of you leave your pizza out overnight and then you heat it up the next morning. You think that's okay. I have a secret. It wasn't until recently that I found out that's not okay. So don't eat food that's left out overnight. Some of these things, they're funny and they might cause us to have like a physical response.
I feel like I'm gonna barf.
For some of us, we laugh to things like that. Or at worst, we may have gagged. Like I gag every time I think about I have to touch wet food and say, ugh, like it's just disgusting. But at some level, something is unsettling about them. They may have made us uneasy or uncomfortable. We may have felt like our heart rates have increased a little bit, or some of us just felt just very, very tensed up and tight. That feeling you have is a stress response, and it's designed to keep you safe. I just wanted to do something fun like that to see how you would react to things, because I want you to know we're not alone when it comes to stress responses. It's something that we all go through. God designed us with a stress response system hardwired into our bodies to keep us safe. Stress is a temporary response to feeling under pressure or threatened. As we just saw, that also means stress is unique to each person. What stresses me out might not stress you out. What makes you worried may not make me feel worried. We all have unique stress responses. What is threatening to one person may not be threatening to another person. What feels like positive or motivational stress to you might be debilitating to someone else. I'm not sure if you've ever heard this saying, but I work better under pressure. You may feel like that, or you've heard someone say that. While some people might feel like that's true, they work better under pressure. For some people, they literally, that stress of working under pressure that way, it could kill them. And that's the thing, we all respond to things differently. I know that I'm someone who stresses about anything and everything. What are we going to eat for dinner? What's the weather going to be like tomorrow? Traffic in the morning, the kids are running late, or I forgot my lunch at home. Like any little thing like that stresses me out. But then I also have what I consider big stresses for me personally. Financially, how these bills gonna get paid, if I'm being honest. Like that's just one of the things that stress me out. Overall, sometimes when I'm going through those things, or even when I'm going through harder things, like I'm dealing with grief or I'm dealing with family members that are in pain and I can't provide any hope, I can't provide any comfort for them, I feel like I'm just not okay. And I want you to know, students, it is okay for us to say, I am not okay. Because the reality is, when we're not okay, Jesus is the one who can bring us hope. He offers hope. He offers comfort. Sometimes it's just hard to believe that. I want us to get into scripture. We're going to focus on Mark 5:25 through 34. But right now, I'm going to go ahead and read Mark 5:25 through 29. A woman in the crowd has suffered for 12 years with constant bleeding. She had suffered a great deal from many doctors, and over the years, she had spent everything she had to pay them. But she had gotten no better. In fact, she had gotten worse. She had heard about Jesus, so she came up behind him through the crowd and touched his robe. For she thought to herself, if I can just touch his robe, I will be healed. Immediately, the bleeding stopped, and she could feel in her body that she had just been healed of her terrible condition. Jesus had a unique encounter with this woman with an internal bleeding condition for 12 years. Can you just imagine this chronic pain, just the embarrassment, the shame she felt, the feeling of being very uncomfortable that she felt for 12 years. She bled non-stop. It would be frustrating for some of us, and for some of us it'd be humiliating. Overall, she dealt with this pain for 12 years. She tried doctor after doctor. She paid all the money that she had to figure out what was wrong with her, to figure out if there's some form of healing that she could receive. Her condition only seemed to get worse, and she felt like she had no hope. It is very important for us to remember, within this time, within this culture, her condition kept her from being a fully functioning member of society. There were rules surrounding how she interacted with people, including her family. There were certain places she could not go. There were certain places she couldn't go because she was bleeding. People could not touch her because she was bleeding. Basically, at this time in society, she was casted out. Like, ooh, that's the woman that's been bleeding for 12 years. Gross. Don't touch her. Something's wrong with her. She's cursed. Don't be around her. That's basically how she was treated. Under the penalty of death, she couldn't be touched or touched by others until she proved her healing. Can you imagine the loneliness and despair of needing to deal with that for over a decade? If I'm being honest, I know for sure that there's no way that I'd be able to handle bleeding every day, all day, and feeling in pain for over a decade. I know that I'd feel like I'm not okay. As the story goes on, Mark 5:30 through 34, she realized that she had so much faith, and she felt like, if I can just touch Jesus' robe, I will be healed. And that's what she did. She touched his robe, and immediately she was healed. Verse 30 says this: Jesus realized at once that healing power had gone out from him. So he turned around in the crowd and asked, "Who touched my robe?" His disciples said to him, "Look at this crowd pressing around you. How can you ask who touched me?" But he kept on looking around to see who had done it. Then the frightened woman, trembling at the realization of what had happened to her, came and fell to her knees in front of him and told him what she had done. And he said to her, "Daughter, your faith has made you well. Go in peace. Your suffering is over." Despite all of the rules regarding where she could be and what she could do, she took a risk. She took a big risk to come to Jesus because she believed if she had just touched his robe, that she would be healed. And that's exactly what happened. She was healed. When Jesus had realized the thing that had been done, she had been praying for over and over for and hoping for, she threw herself at Jesus' feet. She was scared because she knew what she had done to break so many religious, cultural laws at this point. Now, I'm going to be honest. If I ever see Jesus, you best believe I'm going to throw myself at his feet. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And that's what she did. Her stress levels were through the roof. And Jesus had an opportunity to tell this woman what a lawbreaker and sinner she was. But he doesn't do that. Instead, Jesus looks at her, feels her pain, sees her pain, and says, "Daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace and be freed from your suffering. I'm not sure exactly how it all happened, but what I do know is that her faith had healed her. And it was also just the power of touching his robe that healed her. And it's this power that healed her of the source of her loneliness, of her suffering. And even though she was not okay, Jesus saw her, he heard her, and gave her a hope for a new future. And that's the thing, is that Jesus is our hope for our future. When we are not okay, we have to know that Jesus understands us, he sees us, he is here with us. Oftentimes the things that we're going through, it doesn't make any sense. But what I do know makes sense is Jesus. Jesus is there for us. In Romans 15:13, Paul says this. He says, I pray that God, the source of hope, will completely fill you with joy and peace because you trust in him. Then you will overflow with confident hope through the power of the Holy Spirit. I'm not sure if you noticed this, but Paul said our hope would increase. But did you notice what Paul didn't say? He didn't say that the God of hope would fix everything immediately. He didn't say God changes our circumstances when we increase our trust. Paul doesn't say that. Paul instead says, the God of hope will overflow our joy as we lean in to trust on him. God won't always change our circumstances the way we want, but Jesus always offers hope. Jesus provides us with hope to help sustain us in times of stress and anxiety. We can trust God will care for us and lead us toward healing, because when you're not okay, Jesus offers hope. Now, how do we know that Jesus offers hope? What can we do? Here are some 4 points, very important things that I want you to remember. When you feel hopeless, when you feel like you're not okay, these are 4 things that I know will definitely help you. Number 1, be honest. Be honest about your feelings. Part of our path towards healing comes with an open and transparent opportunity of what we feel. We must be realistic about what's happening and what needs to change. Just like the woman in Mark 5, we have to be ready to admit that what we have been trying isn't working, and we must look for a new path. Listen, when I'm stressed out, I'm like, this is what I'm feeling. I'm being completely honest. I've been trying to do everything on my own. It's not working. So number 1, be honest. Number 2, name your feelings. If you feel stressed, you say, I am stressed. If you're feeling angry, you say, I am angry. If you're feeling hopeless, I am hopeless, etc. Whatever you're feeling, name those feelings. Name those feelings and invite others into your healing process. Learn to name what you're going through and what you're feeling. Sometimes we say things like, I'm just feeling sad. That's fine. You're feeling sad. But what is it about that sadness that you're feeling? Name your feelings. There are so many different types of emotions, feelings, and thoughts. Many of us have difficulty getting specific about our feelings, and that's okay. If you notice you are stressed this week, name the feelings coming up. Maybe write them down in a journal or note them in your phone. So, number 2, name your feelings. Number 3, bring everything to Jesus. You're feeling sad? Hey, God, I'm sad. I need you to heal me. I need you to help me. I'm feeling depressed. Jesus, are you there? I'm feeling hurt, Jesus. I'm feeling stressed. I'm feeling anxious, Jesus. I'm feeling fearful. Bring it all to Jesus. Jesus offers hope. No matter how hard things can be, know that Jesus is there and ready. Like the woman in the story, there is an unexplainable hope Jesus brings when we draw close to him. And number 4, ask for help. There are many times in our life, no matter how much we pray or ask God to fix things, no matter how much faith we have, things can change. The truth is, sometimes they don't. I don't have an answer, and I don't know why. But what I do know is this: it is not an easy burden to carry if you have to carry it alone. If you feel like you've prayed or tried to do things on your own and things haven't changed, it's a good indicator that you may need support. Talk to someone here today. It's okay to ask for help. It is okay to say, hey mom, hey dad, grandma, nana, pops, this is what I'm feeling. Hey pastor, hey leader, this is what I'm feeling. I need help. As an adult, I'm constantly reaching out for help, and I want you to know that it's okay. Now, to close this out, everyone just take a big, deep breath in. Now release. Close your eyes. Now, I just want you to imagine a place where God can be. And this can be anywhere for some of you. For some of you, it's at the beach. Imagine the soft, calm waves. For some of you, it's in the mountains. Imagine you smelling that fresh, crisp air. Imagine a calm, peaceful place where you can go and relax. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you smell? Or what do you taste in your calm place? Is it a tree house in the forest? Is it the beach? Is it the mountains? Allow your body to sink into this place of peace. This is a moment between you and God. Eyes are closed right now. And in this moment, in your own heart, in your own head, talk about the things you need hope for. Talk about the things that you know you're just not okay. Right now, imagine you're at this place with God and have this conversation with Him. Ask God to sustain hope amid these struggles. Now open your eyes. That was just a short little scenario of what you could do in your own personal time. I want you all to practice that at home. Imagine yourself at a place that you find peaceful and relaxing, and imagine that God is with you there. And when you need to, spend that time with Him and let Him know, God, these are the struggles that I have and I'm just not feeling okay. And I want you to know this. Remember, when you're not okay, Jesus offers hope.